Well, let's go right ahead. All right, let's take this story to the prompt. The prompt is theme is the life lesson the author would like his reader to get out of their text. How does Garcia, the author of the story, develop this theme throughout the book? I Can Do Hard Things. And we're just going to look at the end real quick and judge these last two slides together or evaluate them. The tough stuff I face is all my own. You see, she's over there. It's a very determined face. But I can also remember I'm not alone. And here are some people taking joy in one another, right? Does this have anything to do with theme, the lesson the author wants us to get out of the book? Well, the author wants us to think about tough stuff, but we can remember we're not alone, right? We can take care of it, but we're not by ourselves. We can know two kind of complicated things at once. This directly addresses the TDA prompt, right? And that self-love is has got to prevail, right? If you think it's about self-determination, if that jives with you better, by all means, take a moment and you can go to the slide and maybe you want to think about that for a moment. Self-love versus self-determination versus what else from this book? Well, maybe we can come back and finish that together. All right. So I'm ready for the hard things I have to do on slide 38. And please remember, so are you. Well, if we're going with how do they develop, they don't mention you to the end of the book. It seems like something big is going on there for there to be such a pattern and then such a big change. So this directly addresses the TDA prompt. It seems important to the plot or presentation of the book. All right. You could also say that it's important to the point of view of the book. You could also say that while they spend a lot of time talking about themselves, even though they show a bunch of different people in the pictures, if you just read the text by itself, it's I, you, right? So we'll skip over that last little page and then let's take a look at the prompt again. Theme is the life lesson the author would like the reader to get out of their text. How does Garcia develop this theme throughout the book? I Can Do Hard Things. Well, we just finished it now. We've got self-love, we've got self-determination, right? And we've got maybe finding success or being successful, right? A lot of these lessons seem to be taught in this book. I Can Do Hard Things. Let's take a moment and review the book as a whole real quick. Just take a look at this picture and think to yourself, okay, here's the story overall. Here are all the different images that go with it. What am I noticing this time? What am I seeing this time about the book? I Can Do Hard Things. The cover is right here. Well, I can think about the moral, the lesson, or the message of the story, which is kind of in the title, I Can Do Hard Things. Notice how the theme is different than the main idea, which is what a story is mostly about. For instance, actions speak louder than words is a theme in pink. Connor was always getting in trouble and making excuses is a summary of a story, right? It's okay to be different versus Laura and Jane are very different but still close friends, right? So the main idea of this book might be something along the lines of a narrator thinks about what troubles them and how they get over it, and they think you can too. That's like a summary there, right? That's just what happens in the story. But the theme or the lesson that we're supposed to get out of it is you need to speak kindly to yourself, right? Love is self-love is one of the best ways that you can feel better about yourself and make your day better, right? So there's the theme versus just what happens in the story. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a moment and go over the specifics of theme a little bit more to help us write. The theme of a story is the message, lesson, or moral the author wants you to learn. What did the author want us to think about? Take a moment and write over here with that question. What did the author want us, the reader, to think about? Take a moment I'm going to whistle a quick tune, and you can copy this down into your prompter on paper. Go ahead. Okay. Now that you unpause the video, let's go ahead and take another look at the notes. We've got common themes. Do any of these apply to the book I Can Do Hard Things? Courage, perseverance, honesty, good versus evil, kindness, acceptance, cooperation, loyalty, friendship, and love and compassion. Which fits best? And then finally, ask yourselves what idea stays with you after reading this book and how do the characters grow or change? Think about those two questions for a minute. What ideas stay with you and how did the characters grow or change? Look at the story. Here it is again. Who are the characters and how do they change? How do the characters change? Who are they and how do they change? Okay. How do the characters change? Question mark. And that'll be another great guiding question when you're thinking about the theme and how it's developed. Okay? Now, finally, I'd like us to think about, all right, I can figure out what the theme is. Now I need to go back and figure out, okay, how did they do it? How did they pull that trick off? Well, take a look at this poster here for how authors develop theme. Setting. Authors can use a setting to show you, to teach you a lesson, right? Whether the setting is dangerous or the setting is claustrophobic socially, right? There's all sorts of different ways to show things with a setting. Conflict, the problems in it, dialogue, the things those characters say or the thoughts they have in their head. What happens to the characters, like we were just talking about. In this story, repetition. I can X, I can Y, I can Z. Character development, positive or negative outcomes for characters. The title of the story, I Can Do Hard Things. Allusions, references to other things, not really in this. Irony, not really in this. Figurative language, not in this. Flashbacks is not in this. Symbolism isn't in the story. Imagery is. In fact, you get a ton of pictures that you can write about. And what do those pictures have in common? And finally, what did the character learn at the end of the story? What did the character learn about themselves? And then they also happen to tell us, the reader, something. All right. So let's take a moment. What are the different ways that the author develops in the story? Choose three of those, please. All right. I'll whistle a tune while you choose three. All right. So now you've got those. Let's write them here. Me, for my part, I think the how equal sign, conflict, character or characters. And as I go back and look, yeah, I'm going to go with, pardon me, I'm going to go with repetition. All right. Happy writing.